Hello and welcome to this video. So as I had said in my last video that we will look at functions. So in this video we are going to study functions. The question is, what is a function? So a function is nothing but a block of code. We have already been seeing the main function. So it's a block of code which starts with the left brace and ends with the right brace. And there can be some code inside it and that executes. It can call other functions. So for example, here, this is main function. In Rust, the function signature will start with fn and followed by the function name. There are more complex declarations, but for now, fn is the marking of function and it follows the function name. And then we have parentheses followed by braces. Now main here calls fizzbuzz2. Fizzbuzz2 is another function. Now see here how inside the parentheses we have 100 and followed by semicolon. That completes the statement. Now fizzbuzz2 is another function. Since we are passing 100, which will default to I32. So we mark this as U32. We don't want to pass negative integers. And we give this variable a name, n. So fizzbuzz2 is another function. Main does not take anything, but fizzbuzz2 is receiving a variable. We can call it argument parameter. We will not go into that jargon. Now fizzbuzz2 iterates on n, and the range of this iteration is 1 to n, and it gets that n and passes to fizzbuzz. So like fizzbuzz2 was called, fizzbuzz n is called now. Again, at the end we put a semicolon. Now if you look at fizzbuzz, it also receives n as U32, and then we have an arrow followed by parenthesis. This arrow signifies the return type. So when you don't return anything, empty parentheses denote that it is returning and returning a unit type. That is, it does not return anything. The function does not return anything. A function can return or may return or may not return something. So now we have n with fizzbuzz. Now in the if statement, we have is divisible by, okay, and we pass n and right hand side is 15. Now this function takes two arguments, left hand side and right hand side. Is divisible by takes two arguments, left hand side is n and right hand side is 15. So if it returns true, then we print fizzbuzz. If it does not return true, we check for divisibility by 3. And if it is divisible, the output is fizz. And if it is not divisible by 3 or 15, we check for 5. If it is divisible by 5, then we print buzz. Otherwise, we print the value n. Now, if you look at the function divisible by, then it takes two arguments, as I said, left hand side and right hand side. The type is U32, and it returns a boolean, a bool value. So the first case is right hand side may be 0. Now we cannot do division by 0, or we cannot compute a remainder when the denominator is 0. So if right hand side is 0, then it returns false. Otherwise, it returns if true if the remainder is 0. If this remainder is not 0, then it will return false. So this is the very basic of functions in Rust. There can be complicated cases. For example, it can have async fn, it can have generic parameters, it can have bounds, and then we have closures, which are special type of functions, and it can return lots of different things. It can receive complicated arguments like box, or it can borrow, it can move. So lots of complications are possible in functions in Rust. We will slowly go one by one. So this is the very basic function, and if you have not programmed earlier, then you might find it a bit difficult to understand. But if you have previous programming experience, then it should be very simple for you. So let's run this program. So if we run this program, then we see for 1, it is not divisible by 15, 3 or 5. So it prints 1. Similarly for 2. But for 3, it is divisible by 3. So it prints fizz. 4 is not divisible. 5 is buzz. Because 5 is divisible by 5. But not by 3 or 15. Now 6 is divisible by 3. So it prints fizz. 7 and 8 are not divisible by either of these. 9 is again divisible by 3. So it prints fizz. 10 by 5. So buzz, and so on. So 15 you see here. Then similarly 30 will be fizz buzz, and so on. So the output is correct. The fonts are a bit small. Maybe I can, okay, it's not increasing. So I'll stop here, and in the next video, we will look at closures and how they, not closures, we will look at methods. That is functions which operate on a struct. So this has been a short video. There is nothing complicated going on here. In the next video, we will look at methods, which are functions associated with a particular structure, and we'll see how those work. So I hope that you will find this video useful and informative. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Happy programming.